Welcome to Storytellers with a Message. This is where I share real stories about real people. I'm Lori Grant, and I'm committed to capturing the moments and lessons that shape our lives. Together, we'll explore stories that teach, inspire, and remind us that everyone has a story worth telling. When my kids were teenagers, I used to let them sleep in on Saturday mornings. And honestly, the best way to make that happen was for me to leave the house. I've always been an early riser. Morning is when my brain works best, when I get things done. And sometimes getting things done means making a little noise. Noise and sleeping teenagers do not mix. So I'd head to the coffee shop and do a little writing. To this day, coffee shops are still my favorite writing habitat. There's something about that white noise and the clinking of the cups, the low hum of strangers' conversations. It keeps me from feeling too isolated. My best friend Tina swears I could write an entire book about the people I meet in the coffee shops. I've never thought of myself as a collector of characters, but I will admit I've got some great stories about people I've met in coffee shops. For a couple of years, Casa Java was my spot. It was the kind of place where the baristas knew my order and knew my mood before I said a word. I'd grab a hot chocolate on my way to work almost every morning, but Saturdays were different. Saturdays were slow, unrushed, and predictable in the best way. Every week, a group of 6 to 8 older women would gather in the sitting area. They were all over 65, all retired, and all clearly devoted to one another. I couldn't figure out how they knew each other. They were all so different. But one thing was obvious. This was a closed circle. As I walked by their table to go sit outside, they would all look at me. But not one of them would smile, and not one of them would say hello. After a couple of weeks of that, I decided it was now my personal mission to get these women to acknowledge me. Why? I have no idea. Maybe it was the challenge. Maybe it was the feeling of being invisible. Whatever it was, from that day forward, every time I walked by their table, I'd say, "Good morning, ladies," with a great big smile. It didn't take long, but it did require consistency. At first, just one of them responded, then 2, then 3. After a few months, they would all answer in unison, "Good morning." And honestly, it was pretty cool. As time went on, they got friendlier. My "good morning, ladies" turned into "good morning, ladies, how are you?" I lingered just long enough to hear their answer. But I never outstayed my welcome. Eventually, I learned they were all widowed, and that's what they had in common. And this was one of their check-in meetings. They met every Saturday morning to support each other. They also took turns hosting once-a-month dinners at each other's homes. They were a tight group. And over time, I'm pretty sure they were looking for me just as much as I was looking for them on those Saturday mornings. Eventually, I told them my name, and they all told me theirs. From there, each week, they'd ask me a question as I passed by. It became a little game. "What are you working on?" they'd say, or "Where do you work?" or "Are you married?" or "Do you have children?" One time they even invited me to sit down with them, but I never did. I always wanted to respect their boundaries. A couple of weeks before Christmas, one of the ladies stopped me and asked if I'd like to attend their upcoming Christmas party. I don't remember why I couldn't go, and I'm sure I would have gone had I been able. But that's not the point. I was genuinely honored they had invited me. So here's my message. All I wanted from these ladies was a simple acknowledgement as I passed by their table. Just a smile. I guess in the beginning it was all about me. But what I learned was this. I had to admire their patience, their slow roll in getting to know me before letting me get too close. I know I'm trustworthy, but why would I assume a stranger would assume the same? These women were the model of what real friendship looks like. They protected each other. They encouraged, supported, and forgave each other when it mattered. They didn't abandon one another over a simple disagreement because they understood the value of staying connected through the messy parts. They knew what true friendship was, and they guarded it carefully. They were intentional about who they let in and committed to the relationships that they chose. Can we be too careful about the people we allow close to us? I don't think so. Choosing the right people isn't just wise, it's how we protect the parts of ourselves we can't afford to lose. It took me years to understand how important real, authentic friendships are and how much we need them. I've learned that people we welcome into our lives can either steady us or shatter us. But in the end, choosing wisely is what anchors us to the people who stay steady, even when life isn't. This has been Storytellers with a Message. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the subscribe button and leave a review on your favorite podcast app. It truly helps others find the podcast. And if you have a story to tell, I love to hear from you. You can email me at storytellerswithamessage@gmail.com. To explore my children's books or learn more about my work, visit www.loriDgrant.com. Until next time, I'm Lori, wishing you joy and peace.